Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the Gaming Pantry, and Retro Bear here. You know, turned Australian since I last spoke to you. That's quite good, wasn't it? Yeah, Retro Bear here, how you doing, mate? Anyway, might be a bit more New Zealand than Australia. Anyway, welcome back to the Gaming Pantry, and for a, I don't know, bit of a ramble really. There's not really much format to this particular video. Just welcoming you back, hoping you're all well. Nice to see you here again. And yeah, hope everybody's doing as well as they can be as Apocalypse once again rumbles in from the distance towards us like a big black thing. God, it's shocking at the moment, isn't it? Absolutely shocking. Really is. I don't know what's going on out there. It's one day to the next, isn't it? It's just an absolute mess. Life at the moment. We've got to get on with it, haven't we? You know, we thought things were bad in 2020. Yeah, roll on 2022. Things didn't get any better. In fact, they're worse, aren't they? I think. Are they worse? Are they worse now? Is it worse for you as it was in 2020? I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people lost their jobs. Obviously, you lost your life during 2020. It was a pretty bad year. But yeah, I don't know. Is it any better for anybody? Is it now? We all thought everything would be a lot better once this COVID stuff had buggered off, but it's back again now. I don't know. Well, you know, we're having one week to the next, do we? We don't know. Anyway, I hope you're coping. Yes, coping, that's probably the best way to go. Are you coping out there? And honestly, I do mean that. I hope you are all well and fit and healthy and not got too many pressures of life on top of you. It can be a real pain in the backside at the moment, so I appreciate that. Anyway, so as I said, move on from that. It's a bit of a ramble, this video. No t-shirt burning or Altered Beast games on here. No, we just get straight into it. Yeah, so what have I been up to? Not an awful lot. So this is really going to be sort of a bit of a catch up for that, and a few things I've got coming up, and a few things I wanted to talk about, get off the old chest, you know. So the first thing I'll talk about is upcoming TMB podcast. You'll notice the logos in the background. It's an easy out rather than putting the game on. I know, but what do you expect? We've had quite a few decent episodes. Last episode we did last Sunday, which was 9th of October, was really good. We had no format. We just sat there and talked for a couple of hours and seemed to go down really well. So thank you for everybody who supported that. Dreamcast we're doing on the 23rd of October. 6th of November we're doing an Amstrad episode. What are we doing on the 20th? 20th of November we're doing import games. And then the 4th of December, at the moment I'm like, not quite sure what we're going to do about that one. And then we'll have the Christmas special just before Christmas. So we've got 5 more TMBs to go before the end of the year. Every other Sunday at 8 o'clock on this channel. Do hope you can come along and join us. You've been supporting us throughout the year. Thank you so much for doing that. We've been doing the live streams now for about 15 months or so. It's strange with 65 of these. It's been a good run. It's been a good run. Really enjoyed doing it. I know something. A lot of people pop into the chat and do it. People catch up afterwards, and they do a healthy number of views during the live stream and afterwards as well, because I know some people like to listen to it on the train, on the way to work, in the car, and when they're doing the dishes, whenever they're shit. That's another one probably. Anything to block out white noise, something like that. It's very, very good. So yeah, that saves white noise, I think. So thanks to everybody who's listened to those and watched those. It's been great. But you know, beyond that, I've been doing an awful lot of gaming wise. It's been a busy period. I know a few people are having periods like this, and especially on the work I'm in, it's a tricky old sector to be in. So I'm not doing an awful lot apart from going home, going to work, coming home, and not doing much else. It's that time of year. My favourite times of year we sport, because obviously there's my interest in American football. We've got the baseball playoffs started last week, and I've now been glued to those. So I don't usually watch baseball. I watch baseball when it gets to the playoffs, which is October. And this year I've been glued to it for some reason. So I don't know how that's my thing. So I'm watching a lot of sport, which is not British, working and coming home and eating, which is not going well. Yeah, because we've been losing weight. And we were doing really, really well this year. We started really well. We started earlier on this year. We both lost a bit of weight, me and Mrs. Bear, and we were quite happy. And then it's just seemed to have stagnated. And what you don't seem to realise, when you try and lose weight, you can eat well and eat better and eat less. But if you don't do anything else on top of that, you're not really going to do an awful lot. So you hit a plateau, which is where we are. We've plateaued. Well, I have anyway, I know that. In fact, I've reverse plateaued and gone back up a bit in the last couple of weeks. It's too easy to pick up the laptop and type an order in and get a pizza delivered, isn't it? It's too easy. I've got to disable the account or disable the laptop or something, one of the two. It's an easy option though, isn't it? You get home and you think, you sit there for an hour or so and you get home and think, oh, is it worth doing any cooking or whatever? And that happened on Wednesday. We were sort of sat there, it was about 6:30, and I just said, pass me the laptop, and I've got to stop doing that. Naughty, I've got to stop doing that. Right, one thing I have been working on, which I'm now going to move into a segue into something else, and we're going to have a look at the other room, is I've been doing some stuff in the second games room. A little bit of moving around. I thought, well, it might be relevant. Some people might like to see what goes on in there, not an awful lot. So we'll have a cut to that, go and have a look at that, and then we'll come back and have a chat about that afterwards. Right, so what I wanted to do first of all is to bring you into Games Room 2, which is still very much a work in progress, as you can see. I won't put that the direct sub because you won't be able to see what's going on. But yeah, we've had a little bit of a change round in here. You can see some things have disappeared from the top there from previous videos. The telly's still there. Still not quite sure what we're doing with this at the moment. You can see the Xbox One is just tucked away tidily in there as well, waiting its new home, which will be downstairs, we expect. And then what we're going to do with up here is keep the PlayStation 3 and the 360 and the Wii U and the Master System up here, and then bring up the DVD recorder from downstairs, because you might be able to see me, but it's even behind there. There we go. There we go, in the corner there. There's a amplifier, because we've had the aerial put in, and I'll explain that in the course of the video as we're going through it. It's had a bit of move around in the pantry 2. See, very bit of work in progress here, but you'll notice I had a bit of a move around. We've moved, there's a vacuum cleaner there. What's that still doing? The door's still off. There we go. We've actually moved the Wii U and the GameCube stuff to the bottom of this one. It was actually over there in the corner, which is there, but it's now moved over to here, just to try and create some space of a bit of a move around. There's some stuff that Dana gave me, which I haven't found a home for yet. And then this is sort of becoming a 8-bit corner really now. And it's just a little bit of a change around. See, PlayStation 1 was there. That's now moved down to there. And the original Xbox, which occupied that shelf and that shelf, are now on the bottom too. As you can see, it's pretty crammed in there. I bought a couple of Xbox games recently, and I don't think I'm going to get any more in there. If you look there, just where 187 Ride or Die is on the far left, there's 2 spaces left, which is about it really. So, and those there are just spare cases. So there's not really an awful lot more I can do in here. So my Xbox collection may, bear in mind I still have this cupboard here, which at the moment is housing some Amiga stuff. You've seen this before anyway. So it's still housing some Amiga stuff, but it's very much a work in progress. And the one next to it, which I won't open up because there's a box in front of it, that one there is sort of the overflow cupboard to be. So there's still some things there. We've had to move around in here. So top there used to be Commodore and cardboard and compilations. The compilations have gone out there, and it's now cardboard and clamshell cases. Just to confirm me, I haven't got a copy of Graham Gooch's Cricket, which I thought I had anyway. And it's still the Disney Princess shelf. That's good. And then what I've done here slightly differently is I've stopped moving some of the Commodore stuff around. So the compilations, which obviously I've been buying quite a lot of recently, although not many Commodore 64 ones, to be fair. That's their new home there. And then we've got this shelf down here which contains most of the single case 64 games from software houses like Encore, which is Elite. You've got Kicks US Gold, we've got GBH, we've got Americana, Alternative, etc. Codemasters, all those are on that shelf there. So as you can see, there's not a lot of shelf space left there either. But below that is a Mastertronic shelf. I didn't realise how many flipping Mastertronic games. There's been about nearly 70 Mastertronic games across all their different labels. So I don't want it to become the Mastertronic cupboard, but obviously I've created some space there so I can put some more single cases or move them around from here to there and whatever. I'm just trying to keep everything a bit more uniform. Got some more Commodore cardboard there. That's not changed, neither is that. That's the Spectrum single case shelf, which is blocked out with hit squads at the moment. And I've got Spectrum cardboard and dual cases below that. Then I've got Spectrum compilations, which is absolutely full now. I had no idea I had that many Spectrum compilations. It's not all Spectrum compilations. There are some Spectrum cardboard behind there as well, but mostly it is, compilations for the Spectrum. Didn't realise I had quite as many. And right down the bottom, not to be long to be forgotten, is the Amstrad cupboard. And it doesn't have the hit squads in there. They're still in a plastic case in another section of this room. But I've just a bit of a tidy up there. And then what I've done here is all my Commodore 64 dual cases, which were on this shelf, are now over here. And again, I didn't realise I had quite as many as those as I did. There's quite a lot there. There's about 70. And the next to it is the Commodore 64 hit squad games. Not that it needs a cupboard on its own, but I felt it's best to put all those in one place just to take those out of the equation and sort of stuck out. There we go. Just tidy that up a little bit. So, nothing to say I couldn't move these here to the front here. I mean, okay, I wouldn't see what was there, but again, just creates a bit more space in there if I need to move things around. So, it's just, as I said, when we built this and put this together, it was very much future-proofing. So I've been on a lot of, people will know I've been buying a lot of 8-bit stuff lately. Mostly the cardboard. But yeah, so it's a little bit of movement. Obviously, there are still problems here. These things here are just an absolute nightmare to try and file. I know a few people mentioned to me that collecting for this sort of these systems would have their OCD going. Believe me, it does crack me up as well, because it's not the most easiest thing to do when you try and put everything together in some sort of order. But anyway, that's my problem, not yours. The other thing I brought you in here for today is because I was going through my cupboards the other day and I thought, you know what, I've never shown these off before, have I? So today I'm going to show you, you can see there, my Commodore Amiga. I've shown my Amiga collection off many years ago. In fact, it's probably the first collection video I did back in 2018. But I thought, I needed to probably get these out and just test them, because they've been sat in the cupboards for an awful long time. I bought this from a car boot, when you could buy things like this at car boots for like 30 quid with a load of copied backup games, which most of them didn't work, so basically it's badly stored. So this is my Amiga, and I did set this up a few weeks ago to see if it's working, because one thing Mrs. Baird does say about these things is make sure it works, because most things that these capacitors go, the drive seizes up, etc, it probably needs a good service. So we did get it out and give it a go, and lo and behold, it did work. It did load up the 2 games I put in there, one which was Kick-Off 2, which I think was a backup, and the other one I put in was Line of Fire, which is an original copy, and they both loaded. I think the drive took a little bit of time to get going, but they both loaded. Although worryingly there was no sound with Line of Fire, though I may have had the television volume turned down at the time, I can't remember. So I'll have to look a bit further into that. But I thought I'd just show you this, because I've never actually shown this on camera before, and I thought it might be nice to get out. And if I could remember how it opens, I'll get it back to front at the moment. Let's turn it around. Turn it around, hopefully. There we go. So as you can see, come around here a bit more. There we go. So it's all in there, and it's got this wonderful cover on it, Evesham Micros, which I remember passing a few times many times on my way to college when I was over in Evesham, and secondly be prominently advertised in most of the magazines you've got. But as you can see, there we go. Over there. And everything is here. We've got the manual, and obviously not great condition manual, but the Amiga itself is not actually too bad. That's a bit of yellowing on it, but I'd expect that to be there. We've got obviously the Amiga tank. The mouse is still there intact. Very nice indeed. Power supply is there. That seemed to work okay. And obviously the TV modulator, very important, because if you are looking to get one of these old 500 models, you'll need a TV modulator unless you have a monitor, because you won't be able to get it on television otherwise. The 600s came with a built-in modulator, which made things a bit easier, because that is so it sticks out the back of the computer and it sticks out there, sort of here. And when I had mine back in the day originally, it was incredibly difficult to get that on the same computer table as the monitor. But yeah, so anyway, so there's that one. So that needs a Mrs. Bear service on that. But I thought I'd show you that because I've never actually shown it off before. And like I said, you know, with the games I've got about 30 quid. And I don't have many boxed things. Well, I don't think I've got many boxed things, but it's nice to have one of those in the box. There we go. Oh, and it says yes, SPR Cash, ISQN 2/ENGR Neuenberg. Interesting. From Whittle Movers. There we go. So, not sure where that started life originally, but there we go. Now, in this box here is something that was given to us. You'll be stunned when you see it. Not because, in fact, one, it was given to us, and two, the colour of it. And this is the much not used at all Amiga 1200. And as you can see, it comes in what's it coloured scheme. Not great, is it? Now, last time I fired it up, which was about 6 years ago, it did work. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing with it. It does come with an even worse coloured mouse. There's also there, this is for hard drive connection. Because with this here, you can see there, you might see modem drivers as well for Windows setup. So this is all it came in. This was given to us, I think, by somebody Mrs. Bear used to play online with on Call of Duty many years ago. And it was just sent to us, I think, for the price of postage. But it's not really been used at all. So it's going to take a little bit of working out. But that's been sat in the cupboard for, since we had it. And we have moved house since then, so that's coming out for a service to go with all the other bits and pieces that need looking at as well. But there you go, I thought I'd show you those anyway while I was in here, because I've never shown those off before. And hopefully at some point in the future I'll be able to show you some stuff that relates to it as well. But in the meantime, let's go back into the other room and see what's going on in there. Yeah, so hopefully if those Amigas turn out to be okay and Mrs. Bear can work her magic, although she's been incredibly busy lately with repairs and things. A lot of projects going on, so she's really up to her neck in it at the moment. They can wait. I mean, obviously they've been sitting there for 10 years, well, one of them anyway, without being touched, so quite happy to do so. But it's nice to fire it up and make sure it worked and didn't just catch fire, which would have been a real problem, because they're about 250 quid, 200 to 250 quid to replace, but I'm not going to be doing that on, but anyway, that's it. So, yeah, that was good to do. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get some Amiga gameplay footage going at some point. That would be really nice. I'd really like to do that. That's my system I grew up with. Talk about everything else, but there's one system I grew up with, so that's really good. Right, so what else are we going to talk about? Okay, a couple of the things that I've got going around. You may have noticed that there is this thing's been sat here most of the year, which says IOU at various points. It actually says, you can see quite clearly, IOU 8 quid. This is what Mrs. Bear bought me for Christmas last year, the retro swear jar, which is when old Retro Bear goes off on one occasionally and lets slip, drops the nice guy persona and just gets going. Those of you who met me know that this is very much different to, mostly it's the same, except I'm more sweary off camera. I'm a nice guy on camera, but I'm more sweary off it. Certainly am. Certainly made a few people's eyes open, definitely. So there's going to be, we got 8 quid in. I mean, there's probably more than 8 quid in there. So I've been thinking about what am I going to do with that at the end of the year, and I thought, well, do you know what? I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little giveaway or a competition at the end of the year. So whatever's in there, I'll set a simple question like, what is your name or something, and then I'll just pick a name at random, and then if your name comes out, I'll send you 8 quid or whatever's in there at the end of the day. I might even round it up to the next one, so it's like 11 quid, I'll round up to 15, something like that, of my own money, just as a way to say thank you to that and do it. It's not a way to gain viewers or subscribers or anything like that. I'm just thinking, well, it'd be nice to just to, give it to somebody and say, there you go and put it towards a game, go and buy a game, go and do something with it, go and drink with it, I don't know, put it towards your fuel bills, petrol, whatever. So, yeah, I'll do that at the end of the year, but that's my intention. I've been thinking about it. I thought, you know what, I'll do that, and we'll do a little fun thing with that. So, yeah, obviously I'm not going to try and keep my civil tongue in my head to avoid pushing it up any further. I'm sure many people now will be sitting there going through all the videos saying, well, there's loads here, Whatever that says is what goes with it. I don't care what everyone else says, what goes. So, yeah, something, a little bit of fun at the end of the year, a little bit of me sort of saying thank you to everybody again for doing all they've done and what have you. It's been a strange old Strange year, really. I don't know, but we're getting there slowly, aren't we? So we'll do that. What else have I got going on? I was going to talk about today. Oh yes, yes. You may remember about 18 months ago now, I got sent something in the post. If I can find the video, there'll be some sort of graphic here which will show you that, which I was very, very honoured to get at the time, and utilised it very well, in incorporating doing what I was doing here at the time. And then it all sort of went to pot last year at some point, and it just got put away again, and more or less, I'm not saying embarrassed to have it, but it seemed to be a bit of a, bit of a millstone round the neck sort of thing. And I brought it back briefly, but it's not felt the same. And people have speculated and made comments of, not directly, but sort of made suggestions, and it's time. The time has come to move it on. So what I'm talking about here is this, which was created by Mark Burnout Culture to give to Dana in 2020 for all the streams that he did during lockdown, which I know he doesn't like to talk about, but I mentioned there. This was then passed on to Sega Zombie, who then passed it on to me. And I'm going to be passing this on to somebody else, and it is going. Okay, so there you go. For people who are just doing things, and I've done a bit of research about it, done a bit of thinking about this, and there's a couple of people who I've got in mind, and I've done some research. So I will be sending that out at some point in the next few weeks to the person that I think deserves that the most, the person I think who represents what it stands for, but somebody I think who would suit it very well to do with it. Now, I used to do the king of the community. That word. So it doesn't seem right to say it. With the crown and do shout outs and whatever. Now, first of all, I'm not going to stop doing shout outs. I haven't done it for ages. I'm not going to stop doing them. I will still do them. I'll still mention people's channels, etc., like I used to. But I'm going to drop that whole king thing. It was fun to do. It was fun to do. And contrary to the popular opinion, I didn't go and buy a crown because of it. I already had one. So there. But it was fun to do, it was nice to do it, but yeah, I'm just happy to go back and being, good old cuddly retro bear and leave it at that, really, because that's all I do. It was great fun to do when I first had it. I really did enjoy it. A lot of people got behind it like I did, and then it stopped being fun because of what was going on. And I thought, and I tried to bring it back this year, and I thought it just didn't feel the same. Couldn't bring it back properly, which is why I've done it. That's why I've sat on it for so long. Not literally, I've not sat on it for that long. It would have been really painful, plastic and a bit of metal in there. So that will get moved on. Like I said, I've made a couple of inquiries with people I know and got a feel for things. So somebody will be getting that in the future. They're also getting a note in there, and the note will explain passing it on, and there'll also be a picture of a penis on the back of it. Because apparently that's a tradition to do it, so from king to king. Now, what I would say with that is whoever gets it eventually, all I'm going to say is this: do what you want with it. Do what you want with it, but do it in the spirit it was intended and it was made for, okay? I've done shout outs. I think Scott was given it because he was very much at the point, he was YouTube, you'd given won the YouTube of the Year thing. It was perfect for him to have it. Dana got it because of what he'd done during lockdown, and it was perfect for him to hold on for it for however long he wanted to move it on. So that's what it is. Put your own spin on it. Do something different with it. Don't think you got to do what I did. I did that because that was what I was doing. Go and do that and make it your own and make it fun again. Get people involved in it. I'm sure you will do. But yeah, so that's going at some point in the next few. I'm not going to say it's going to go out next week because that would just sort of like stupid. Because I know if I said it's going out next week, it ain't going to happen. It'll go out when it goes out. But yeah, so yeah, that will be moved on. So I'm just going back to me. So I don't want to do that anymore. It was fun to do. It was great fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. But the time has come to move it on. And there's a couple of things I'm working on as well at the same time. I'm thinking of working on or trying to get sorted out. And I won't have time to do that. That's why I haven't done it. And to be honest, I'm not really focused on doing that anymore now. I'm desperately trying to look around and see if there's anything else I want to talk about, because I'm sure there was. So we've done the Amiga stuff. We've talked about what's going on outside. We've talked about TMB. We've talked about the swear jar. We've talked about that. Is there anything else? No, not really. So I think that's probably it for this video. There will be another video though along later in the week, which will contain some pickups. Yes. Well, I'd say pickups. A trade with a fellow YouTuber. A couple of things that were passed to me from people who went to Blackpool, and the sort of less initiated of you may or may not have realised it was my birthday just gone this week. Start this week, just gone. So I've got some birthday gifts to show off, and I wanted to get that video in because there's some things in there which actually related to what I've had for my birthday. I had to do this video first before I did those, so they will come along. But I haven't really been anywhere because my favourite retro shop is obviously shut at the moment for renovation, and I haven't really felt like going out. So I'll talk about that in another video anyway. That's why I've done this video now, and there'll be another video to follow it along. In the meantime, thanks very much indeed for watching. It's been a pleasure to talk to you once again. Do take care out there, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Till then, bye for now.